Good. Take a roll call, please.
Mark Doyle,
Here.
Amy Bondieri,
Here.
Tom McCount,
Here.
Jane McComb,
Here.
Brian Berrien, Lane Belmonte, Christopher Munn.
Here. Excellent. Are there any conflict of interest disclosures?
I have to recuse for AP packaging.
Okay. Well, good for numbers then? Yes.
Yes.
And proof of meeting notice went out ahead of time, plenty of time. Bills and communications, none.
None.
Approval of minutes. Minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Thank you. Take a roll.
Sure. Christopher Munn,
Yes.
Jamie McComb,
Approve.
Tom McCount, Amy Bondieri.
Approved.
Mark Doyle.
Approved. Thank you. That's the March 11th. And Jane, a report from the financial reports.
Okay. Looking at the balance sheet as of April 30th, 2026, we have cash of 2.3 million, and pretty much everything else is the same. That we have the receivables still. Looking at the P&L, we have revenue of 85,000, budget revenue of 327,000. So far, we're unfavorable by 241,000. We have expenditures of 444,000 to a budget of 764,000. So far, we're favorable by 320,000. We had the pilot payment so far of 3.3 million in and out. We have a net income of, a net loss of 359,000 to budgeted net loss of 438,000. So far, we're favorable by 79,000.
Thank you, Jane.
Jane, the receivables is the deferred fees for the two projects, I think, right?
Yeah, there's some Loki Brill in
Okay.
other income invoices out, but for the most part, the large receivables, yes, are for the delay deferred admin fees.
Right.
I think it's August that we received two of them.
This August? Okay.
Okay.
I'll double check.
Thank you. So, no committee meetings and reports as a result?
Correct. I was, on the agenda, you'll see the policy review committee for the FOIL policy. However, I didn't submit it to Liz and Don in sufficient time for them to review. So I'll ask that we put that on for the June agenda.
Very good.
I think we still need another meeting for that committee policy review.
But if you recall in March.
No, not for that, but to bring up the topic about, talk about units, adding units to the trust fund.
For the affordable housing?
Yeah, if projects came before us without affordable units.
Okay.
We were gonna have them contribute to the county trust fund. And we were gonna try and figure out, a calculation or so forth. So
Okay.
that was the last one that we left at last year before you came on.
Okay.
So that was something we wanted to discuss and possibly put together.
We haven't adopted the affordable housing.
No.
No.
Okay.
So we'll schedule a policy.
Something,
meeting to
yeah.
Discuss all of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
And who's on that committee?
Me and you.
And Tom.
And Tom.
Tom, right, because Al was on and yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So we'll pick that back up again. All right.
There's no unfinished business.
No unfinished business. So under new business, the first item, which is the Hudson Company project up in Pine Plains, they've asked for us to hold off. They have some documents to put together, hold off till June,
Correct.
right? So that being the case, we'll move on to the Frito-Lay project, which is for the consideration and approval of a supplemental authorizing resolution for rolling Frito-Lay sales LP in the town of East Fishkill, authorizing an extension of the project's completion date to December 31, 2026. Robin, if you'd like to just outline that for us.
Absolutely. Rolling Frito-Lay has had some challenges bringing the building online. Construction is completed, but they've had some issues bringing the operations online. And that has delayed them hiring the appropriate staff and as well as outfitting the facility accordingly. So essentially what they're asking for is the extension of the employment commitment as well as the completion of the building. So building completion date would have been 2024.
Yeah, it came to us in 2021.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, in November, I think, end of the year. 80 jobs.
Yeah.
Highly sophisticated warehouse, all automated, state of the art. And so it's not operable yet?
It's not operable yet.
Do we do site inspections or it has been done?
No, there hasn't been a site inspection done. This is something that we've been attempting to meet with them and get into the building to take a look. I've asked if the town supervisor could assist us with that.
Yeah.
And so we will continue to get into that building or make attempt to get into that building to take a look at it.
Okay, so we're gonna think about approving something and we haven't been given access to the building?
Well,
We're kicking the can. I mean, we're not approving, we're deferring, but
Correct.
again.
Well, approving the extension,
Right,
approving-
yes.
Approving the deferral.
Something that,
We're-
yeah. I mean,
we're approving something they've asked for.
right.
Correct.
They're not given, and they have not given us access
so
to
then
the
we should-
building, so maybe we should think about that today.
I mean, they're only asking for 6 months, so are they really going to be able to do in 6 months what they haven't been able to do in?
and so that's the purpose of discussion today.
Well, the question becomes, have they been issued a CO by the town, which the supervisor should help us with?
Yeah.
And if so, are they
We
paying,
have that answer.
did year one of their pilot come in? Because I think it was a deviated or was a 15-year pilot.
Deviated, but their pilot was not slated to begin until the fall of this year, which of course will push it back to 2027 if we,
Yeah, it just seems there's not enough info.
yeah.
Yeah, since the original construction date was terminated on the December 31st, 2024, so now
But what was that? It was,
the original completion date was slated December 31st, 2024.
Okay.
And then they're not asking for a sales tax exemption.
They're not asking for any of that. They're just asking that the building be deemed complete at the end of this year, December 31, where it was originally scheduled for December 31, 2024. But of course, that then impacts the employment recording or the employment reporting number of the 80 jobs, as well as the initiation of the pilot, which was scheduled to begin October of this year.
So that would be delayed 2 years.
And that would be delayed 1 year to 2020.
1 year, we're moving the completion date 2 years, but the pilot would only move 1 year?
Correct.
because it hasn't been completed.
It hasn't been, they're saying it hasn't been completed,
Well,
correct?
we need to know if there's a CO because those are two different things. There could be a CO, but they may not have what they need to operate. But the building may be
Yeah, because
great.
they were talking about complete robotics and all the workforce was going to be white collar, managerial.
Correct.
And the construction workforce was.
It's completed.
Oh, we had waivers we had to sign. Remember the roof and the
Yeah.
panels that Al Torgiani got into on the panelization of the building.
Right. So again, all of the construction is completed. This is
Yeah, no, that's what it looks like when you drive
interior
by.
of it, yeah. And all of the,
Hey,
Oh, hello. Good morning.
and all of the robotics, the mechanics and such
Found
has
it, yeah.
not been completed into the building. They've not been able to bring it online. So,
Well, it's two different things, the building being completing and it not being brought online, right? I mean,
There's also a discussion that came through that economics had prevented them from actually putting it online as well. So it's a little,
it was another COVID project.
right. And that wasn't anything that they raised in conversation with me, that there was an economics problem or that there was.
Well, it can't be economics, I mean, they're Pepsi, but they have, no, but they, you know, but honestly.
Or anything. you
Their
know,
snack
other
food
than-
business is taking a hit and they have a activist shareholder, Elliott Management, coming in after them. So they're under the fire.
gun.
But I think, you know, like we said, we should kick this out a month and find out some of what's under the hood.
Yes.
And urge them to let us come
Yeah.
in and do our site inspection. I mean, you know, that doesn't seem unreasonable to ask to do that before we, you know, start approving more things. And if waiting a month isn't going to hurt the process or cause a hardship per se,
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Especially with cooperation of the supervisor. I mean, he should be on top of this as well.
Cooperation of the place.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, but East Fishkill would benefit as well for the taxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
let's just bring Lane up to date with where we are. We have Hudson Company is off the slate. We're discussing Frito-Lay. And I think what we're going to do is ask for a vote to table do we need to vote to table? I don't think we need a particular vote.
Liz?
to table
Probably
something.
should do that.
I think
I mean, I think to vote to table and have it moved to the
Okay,
next
we'll
meeting.
Postpone to date certain.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table this approval until further investigation regarding their certificate of occupancy and site inspection.
Second.
all approved.
Christopher Mon,
Yes.
Lane Belmonte,
Yes.
Jim Picone,
Approved.
Tom LeCount,
Approved.
Amy Bondieri,
Approved.
Mark Dorr.
Approved. Excellent. Good discussion. All right. So now we have consideration approval of a supplemental authorizing a resolution for Poughkeepsie Industrial Park LLC, Air Protection Packaging Corp. in the town of Poughkeepsie to authorize an additional mortgage recording tax exemption on the mortgage in an amount not to exceed $4 million, such that the total amount of mortgages eligible for exemption not exceed $15 million in connection with the refinancing of existing debt for the manufacturing facility located at 900 Duchess Turnpike. So, do you want to?
Do you want me to step up?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, thank you. You did tell us. Please.
we're going too fast.
So the background on this project is, and Kelly, there she is.
Okay, great, yeah.
So Kelly Leibolt of KARC Planning Consultants is appearing on behalf of the applicant. And let's ask Kelly to submit the request and we'll fill in the gap from there.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Good morning.
Again, I'm Kelly Leibolt with KARC Planning Consultants and then representing the applicant here. I also represented them as part of their original assistance to the IDA. We're here to seek a modification to the MRT, the mortgage tax or mortgage recording tax exemption. Back in 2021, your organization approved an MRT of $11,100,000, so $11,100,000. And since that time, the applicant has used a portion of that. They have used $6,635,000. I did a little table that I had submitted to the board. I don't know if this is helpful, if you can see this, that kind of describes what we've done. So again, we've have utilized $6,635,000 of the 11 million. The applicant is seeking some refinancing and some additional new money in the total of 15 million. So the new money that we're applying for is this 8,365,000. There was some residual left on the original MRT that your organization approved, which is this 4,365,000. And so we're seeking an additional 4 million in MRT to be able to refinance and address some of the additional improvements that the applicant is seeking. This is somewhat of a unique situation. I've explained this to the IDA in some correspondence. The applicant has actually funded a lot of these improvements. Notably, there was a significant improvement to the site. We were previously discharging all of the sanitary sewer for this entire facility into the adjoining stream through an on-site wastewater treatment plant. And the DEC in the town had asked that the applicant modify that and connect to the town of Poughkeepsie municipal sewer main. And so that was part of this was a significant project that the applicant undertook and financed themselves. So some of this money is repaying the loan to the applicant for equipment and purchases that have been previously completed. I just want to make a note that we are consistent with our employment numbers. In 2021, our projection was 105 FTEs. That was our estimate. And at the end of 2025, we were at 168 FTEs. So we have met and actually exceeded those numbers. I think that's kind of a brief summary. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Good.
One thing I just wanted to mention is when we're talking about these mortgage amounts, the exemption that the IDA grants is the 0.75% of the mortgage recording tax that we're permitted to grant exemption on. So the actual amount of benefits sought ends up being $30,000 in mortgage recording tax benefits.
Let's explain that a little further. Okay, so the mortgage recording tax
In Dutchess County,
is
1.05%.
right.
IDAs are not exempt from the MTA portion of the mortgage recording
Of course.
tax. So when we grant exemptions to applicants, it's for 0.75%.
Okay, so they would get an exemption of 0.75. Now, in 2021, we granted 11 million and a few dollars of mortgage recording tax exemption that was underutilized. And I saw something about an SBLA loan or something, which is exempt from the mortgage tax. So that's why they didn't have to go that route. So they left a significant amount of money in unused benefits that we had approved. So now if they are trying to get 4 million more, okay, to get to the 15, which would be over almost 5 years, and it's only a hit of $30,000 financially of the additional 4 million. And they've created 63 additional jobs than originally proposed and environmentally stopped discharging their wastewater into the town of Poughkeepsie sewer. Okay. That sounds pretty good to me. Thank you.
Sounds very good. So, and then on the SBA loan, is this then a consolidation of mortgages? So the SBA, right? She's
You're muted.
Muted. Or,
You're muted, still muted.
oh, with the room's got to let her in, I think.
is there a way to?
She's on, Peter.
Okay, thank you. I
there you
couldn't
go.
unmute myself.
That's
That's good sign language.
Let's start that again.
Sorry, could you ask the question again?
For you to explain the SBA loan timing, and are you consolidating then to a new mortgage?
Yes, we are consolidating. There's two existing loans. So there's a first and a second with Citizens, and they're approximately $6 million. So those are getting consolidated. And then there's the additional 4 million that's being sought in new money. And yes, you're correct to point out that the SBA holds a $4.5 million loan that, due to the fact that it was through the SBA, was exempt.
Right.
And thank you for summarizing. I think you actually did say what I wanted to say, is I think this applicant has done a tremendous job in creating jobs, and also converting this very, very antiquated wastewater treatment plant that they acquired through the sale. When they acquired it, it had exceeded its permits. New York State DEC wouldn't allow an additional permit. So for 2 years, we worked very closely with the town of Poughkeepsie. They were fantastic in monitoring that wastewater treatment plant and converting. There's a number of buildings back there. So you have a large industrial building. There's Dyson is back there. There's another manufacturing building. So all of these buildings are no longer discharging into the creek, and they're going into the town's municipal force main. It was an incredible undertaking to get through that process, but it's done and approved. I'm happy to take anyone through the IDA if you'd like to see this facility. It is state of the art. It's amazing that it's right here in the town of Poughkeepsie. So if anyone would like to see it, I'm happy to arrange that.
Well, I think it's excellent news that us, as the IDA, have been involved with a project that is so centrally important to our mission here, in that we're improving the environment while doing good business and increasing the number of well-paying jobs. So it really couldn't be much better.
This was a relocation from New Jersey, if I'm not right. Bubble wrap,
Yes.
shrink wrap, something?
Correct. Yep. And it is a significant expansion.
From New Jersey, right? It
Yes.
came from out of state. We
Yep.
attracted.
We
Okay.
brought all these jobs here, and they continue to expand. There will be more. We will be back. So there's additional work that they're proposing. It's approved by the town of Poughkeepsie. There's additional equipment that they'll be purchasing. This has to come in from Italy. It's very high-tech equipment. There's new structures that are going to be built on site just to create a more efficient logistics. So we will be back, but this is our first or second step in the expansion of this project.
This is the site on 44, right? That was
Right,
it, the
next
De La
to-
Valle
Yeah, the old
site?
De La Valle,
Next to
the old,
And so that is a large building, and looking from the road, do you occupy half, three-quarter? I mean, what's the size of the facility?
it's more than half.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more than half of it. So they continue, as tenants move out, they could continue to take that area and expand.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a couple of questions. Have we received any correspondence from the municipality regarding this application in terms of, because I know mortgage recording taxes do propagate to the individual municipalities as part of that, and I was wondering if we had any communication on, or if they are aware of this supplemental.
So essentially, what's happening is this applicant is accessing mortgage recording tax exemption that was previously approved. So it isn't new and additional. It is them going back and tapping into what they didn't tap into previously.
Well, this is an additional amount.
4 million,
as
right?
well.
Some
Additional,
of it is the already granted,
Right.
and then there's that portion that's.
right, the 4 million.
We are not required to have a public hearing under the general municipal law for granting benefits under $100,000, but we held one anyway, just in an effort to be transparent. And the municipalities do receive a copy of the notice of public hearing. So it was mailed and emailed to all of the taxing jurisdictions.
Okay, and then they didn't submit any
We
comment.
didn't receive anything in response. We do it by email, read, receive requested. So,
Okay.
and we hadn't received anything back or any questions from the town or any of the municipalities.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great. So that's just another question as a new member. So when existing, we'll call it clients, clients come in and they want additional benefits or supplemental benefits, what is the bar different than when they first come in? When they first come in, I assume the project's evaluated, the number of jobs, is there a bar with IDA projects that it's like, otherwise it wouldn't happen, like be similar for like LBC projects? So how is that pondered? How is that considered?
Consistency would be the key.
It doesn't happen often either.
Yeah, but we've certainly seen them. So it's a really fair question, because we've had
Well, it's
it's easy to make
as
statements.
perspective,
Yeah.
perspective, if, let's say a business, needs an incentive and help, rehabbing an old building and comes in and becomes very successful and, let's say in that case, I don't know the specific case, the financials, but let's say they're become a successful business, they're a thriving business, and they come back and they want more tax breaks. And it's like, well, look, you have a successful business. This was the point to get you here to build the business. It's not the goal is here for you now to generate tax revenue for constituents, now that you're established. So, how do we, and it's not just for this particular project, but how do we parse that, right? How do we,
Where's the line where you
Where
say,
does the line drawn?
consider that where we're like, be free, bird, out of the nest versus, here, have some more.
The only other one that came back to us was the Gap wanting some sales tax exemption. I remember a few years back on the automation of another $500 million worth of equipment, but very few come back to ask for more. Like you said, like the Gap was bringing an additional 500 more trucks a day, if you can believe that. But that's the only one that would be a business continuing to ask for more incentives economically.
Yeah. Jane, can you think of any or?
I'm trying to think.
I think a lot of times when projects have come back, it's because there's been a change in either the economics where the cost has gone up or it wasn't, because when they come to us, they're giving their projections of what the expenses will be, what the financing will be, and things might change by the time they go to close on the financing or by the time they actually go to make those purchases. So our resolution, our standard authorizing resolution, has language in it with respect to sales tax that says the agency agrees to consider additional increases in the sales tax benefits in the event there's going to be more purchases. So I think usually what we do is we ask them to explain the need. What is it that changed from the time of your initial application until now that led to this increase that wasn't requested at the time of the application?
Which was COVID. We had several sales tax.
I think that was
for the cost of steel and
especially where there's a big gap between
building costs, material
closing
costs.
with the IDA and actually getting to the point of making purchases or actually getting to the point of financing. A lot of times the numbers change during that time period. So it's a matter of the applicant coming and explaining that and answering the questions that the board might have. I don't know if there's anything internal as far as how that changes the cost benefit analysis. But that's something that if the board wanted to have an analysis like that, I would say just ask.
Right, to come
and have,
more
that's right,
analysis
together.
especially with the last project over in Fishkill.
Right.
If in terms of operationally, if there's something that is an excessive and it's obvious, just as a rule of thumb, then we will implement and ask for and go out to Camoin Associates, our third-party analyst, to run another cost benefit analysis, as well as ensure that the applicant has received approval or some sort of consent from the taxing jurisdiction before they even come to us. If it's something large and
It's happened.
on site, and if it's visibly the application is excessive, then we're not just going to automatically, go through the process of setting it up for inducement and coming before the board for an extension. We will move forward with taking all of the steps towards due diligence so that it makes sense for the IDA or the LDC in that instance to move forward. So, but in my tenure, I've not experienced that, and even in my experience in Mount Vernon prior to here, I've not had that happen.
We had one come and we had a great discussion and we talked about their balance sheet and the lack of the financial need to complete the project, and they pulled the project. Because it just wasn't need, the funds weren't needed.
Right.
It was an institution with an endowment. But in this case, I just feel as a project, where Dutchess County is trying to be a good source to produce jobs and this is one in which we'd like to continue to be a good working partner. And if you're talking $30,000 of a grant for the 4 million in additional mortgage sales exemption, I think that's it is certainly within our realm.
Yeah.
And hearing more financial investment coming, as well as the square feet
Yeah.
expansion into the footprint of the building. Do they own the building or they lease the building?
They own the
own the
building.
building.
They own it. So those are the other tenants that they share with that you had mentioned.
There are other tenants in there that are primarily manufacturing related. There's a steel fabricator in there. There's a couple of offices in the
Right.
back. They're smaller tenants, but as they move out, when there's an area where there's high ceiling, they'll take that space.
And this sat vacant or dormant right before they came
It
into
did.
this, I believe.
It
Yeah,
did.
so it's definitely been an asset for the business of Dutchess County. So
Right.
I think what's sort of interesting in this discussion is that, when application comes in or a request for extending it it's really on Robin and the staff to evaluate and try to get answers to as many of the questions as possible to prepare it for us. And then, we're the second step on the board, but.
Correct. So we do a thorough due diligence, or what I like to call it is application completeness review, and answer, all of the questions that the board as well as the public will have prior to bringing it forward to the board for consideration for initial inducement. And that includes engaging Liz and Don throughout the conversation before it comes forward. So
and there's several projects that don't make it this far.
there's
That are
lots
vetted
of,
and- yeah.
there's lots of projects that I
Right.
say no to.
Because that they're
And,
insufficient.
and I certainly don't even mention it to you all that the applications have come forward because I've already said no, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make good business sense for the county. So,
Right. So I guess for this supplemental, one of the justifications would be that, the unexpected expense of the connection to the town of Poughkeepsie sewer. This is a debt consolidation situation, not necessarily, I mean, there's also going to be, so for this, turns to the applicant, so the additional money, you're refinancing and then there's additional money for more expansion, or there's additional money or is it just for refinance? Could you recap that again?
There's additional money to capture some of the expenses that the applicant has already been required to loan the company in the amount of 4 million. So there was the force main improvements was around 2 million. Building related cost pertaining to that force main was around 500,000. And then additional equipment that has been purchased, and I can email that list to Robin if you'd like, is 4.4 million.
Okay.
So in that kind of adds up almost to $8 million, but we had submitted a letter May 8th just to try to summarize what that 8 million includes. So that's the refinanced money, and then the new money, the new 4 million is 8 million. I can kind of give you a
in
quick
there,
breakdown.
parts,
Yeah,
but
it's
not
in
as
there.
a whole.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
see.
Of the 4 million, again, I can give you a breakdown if you want, if you don't have it in front of you. So there was the extruder machine, which is the machine that they utilize in the production of the bubble wrap. There was shelving and racking, which was a whole new shelving and racking system for safe and efficient storage of the materials, a complete automation of the logistics, which again is amazing to see. I'm going to invite Robin over to see the building. Everything gets packaged. It's automated. They sort of look like when you go to a grocery store and you see kind of shopping lanes, and it's managed by staff. So there's technical staff that's trained there that manages that. And there was an amount of equipment that was purchased to move all of the materials throughout the warehouse. So that's the kind of a in the trees summary of the equipment that was purchased.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking the questions. Are there any other questions?
Any further questions? And I'll circulate that email to you, the letter that actually came from the applicant to the board, so that you can see the breakdown, which is what they provided to us. Typically, when that letter of request comes in, it is embedded into the body of the resolution. But if you'd like to see the formal letter, then
that'd be great.
I'll submit that to you.
That'd be great.
Great, thank you. So we'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the supplemental $4 million in addition to the original 11 million and change in sales mortgage tax recording exemption for Industrial Park LLC Air Protection Packaging Corp.
Good. I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All right.
Christopher Munn,
Yes.
Lane Belmonte,
Yes.
Jim Picone,
Approve.
Tom McCall,
Approved.
Mike Doyle.
Approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is good discussion.
Let's get Amy back in.
Robert, once the project's completed, we don't do any further inspections, right? Because like this would be on the Paris, no, this wouldn't be on the Paris report because it's closed.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
No,
not.
it wouldn't.
It's been in 2020.
No, it was on the Paris report. We continued.
It has the pilot, so,
Oh, it has a pilot, okay.
yeah, so it has to be recorded.
Yeah, because we're talking more.
I saw the building, it's
It also has the New York State Excelsior program. Sorry, I just wanted to add that. So every year annually, we are highly reviewed on the number of employees. So KRC, we monitor this for the applicant. So every month, every quarter, and at the end of the year, there's employment reporting information that's provided. But I'm happy to, if anyone wants to see, again, I'll offer that and then I'll let you go on to your next application. If anyone wants to see the building, I'm going to coordinate with Robin going through a tour.
We'll organize that accordingly.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Kelly.
thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful day.
I'd love a tour.
You want to see
Yeah.
a tour?
I mean, if they're coming back for sales tax exemption on equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, because at one point we were going to tour Amazon and we never did. That would have been interesting. Matter of fact, Amazon,
people that like.
Frito-Lay came at the same time.
Oh,
And Amazon's been up and running for a few years.
Yeah?
Yeah, because they had outbid each other for the parcel. That's why it ended up in Hyde Park, Frito-Lay.
They say that's great for
Yeah.
autism.
Right, so, on our agenda, we have,
why? No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying with regards to that. We can talk later.
About what, which one?
The one we just,
You
because you recused yourself.
Yeah,
Are you currently working on or worked?
I designed their sewer lift station.
Oh, okay, that's what she
Yeah,
was
that's
discussing.
what I was discussing.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
okay, good.
just,
You want to talk about sewers? I'm your girl.
I do though.
All right.
Is it still working? Is that?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We discussed honestly how they were discharging into the creek and
Not anymore.
Correct.
They spent $2 million to jump into the town of Poughkeepsie, plus another $500,000 on a building or something, she said.
On the lift station.
A what?
On the lift station itself.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, cheap.
Talking about not cheap
Yeah, here we go.
and complicated.
Yeah.
We have a discussion that's probably going to take a while.
yeah.
Because of its complications. So this is Champlain Hudson Power Express Group that have already laid, I think, 2 cables, mostly down the Hudson to Queens. Not operating yet, I don't believe. I don't think they've turned it on, but the work is done.
Correct.
The investment has been made. It's developed by developers, funded by Blackstone, and is a hydroelectric power generation project. So, pretty key for New York City to reduce its, or at least increase its renewable energy supply. So complicated because they've already completed the project. So the what if discussion is moot. It's done. Robin has a comment on the legalities of us being involved in this in the first place,
Right.
which we'll talk about in a second. But I just wanted to sort of outline. So we have what appears to be various municipalities already sending out tax bills, property tax bills to this company. And we will find out in the course of this on what basis they're doing that and how their calculations work. Clearly, the company is anxious to have some kind of predictable, steady tax process and not have, X number of municipalities up and down the river all doing different things. But at least on the county business basis, they're interested in consolidating the tax bill. So that then involves the county, and I'm sure the county legislature, and the different municipalities, which have property in those areas. And it sounds like not all of those municipalities are particularly interested in a consolidated approach to this. So we'll have to see how that turns out.
I think the biggest one.
Right.
Town of Poughkeepsie, I don't think Town of Poughkeepsie wants to send its own bill, is my understanding, unless they've changed their position.
But we're also talking, this cable starts in Canada. So you're talking every riverbank community from Canada to New York City.
Correct.
Is trying to tax this cable underneath the river where no services are provided by any municipality, but yet they're going to tax them.
What if there's a fire?
The fire, underwater, but the fees or taxes that this cable is going to have to pay for ultimately is going to get pushed off to the consumer. I don't care how they're going to say no.
Well, in New York City.
In New York City, right. And we're talking all different economic, social types of individuals in the city. I just find this insane.
Is it only down the east side or is it?
It's right down the middle.
Both sides,
both-
right down the
Yeah, I
middle.
mean, I saw the bike went right under the Hudson.
Nightmare.
I don't think we can tax it if it's not clearly on Dutchess County's
Yeah,
side. So
yeah, no, right. If
it was on the other side, there would be no
But
discussion.
it did go overland in some of those
That
municipalities.
was the article we read, that
Right.
it was a severe disruption
To-
in Rockland County,
That's right.
where it
Number
then
of
came
businesses.
above ground, where Black Rock, that was the article, was giving them $1 million.
Stone.
Black Stone, okay. Subsidiary. But they had given $1 million to the storefronts that were affected for the road closure to make
Correct.
way for the cable to come on ground.
Correct.
That's how we found out.
That's how we found out it was Blackstone.
It was
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think on the question of taxability, it's sort of beyond our,
Correct.
legal purview. That's going to have to be dealt with elsewhere.
Correct.
But on a sort of simplistic basis, if it were not for the use of the Hudson River, they wouldn't have a project. So they're gaining value one way or the other from the use of the Hudson River. What we have to do then is enter a very careful process, because this could shine quite a spotlight on us if we are not in, requiring broad agreement and consensus from all these parties. And I just don't think it does the IDA any good to stand out and go alone on this at all. So we won't. But there are, in the way that applications come to us, and particularly this one, the because it's complicated, Champagne Hudson has presented their sort of proposal for coming to an agreement. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right proposal.
Correct.
Or that the calculations are right, or that any of the bases are correct. So we're going to probably have to go through each and every point and not take for granted the information that we're given.
Correct.
So I just wanted to get that out, right down to, what's the basis for the taxation? And
What's the valuation?
What's the
What's the
valuation?
valuation?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, like feet per dollar, I guess, in each municipality, how the cable lies.
So these details are not our normal sort of course of work, but it appears that, in order to go through this, we're going to have to get into these details.
Correct.
Or at least make sure that we're satisfied with the answers. Or we could say, I'm sorry, we're really too busy and we can't entertain this project. I suppose that it's within our ability to turn it down, just outright. I don't think we're going to do that, but I guess that would be the first question as to whether this board is interested in pursuing this project.
Considering it, right?
Considering
So
this
we're
project.
considering, so in 2024, 2025 timeframe, an initial application from Champlain Hudson was submitted to the IDA. It was deemed incomplete, and so it has not progressed. During that timeframe, Champlain Hudson continued working with the other counties along the Hudson, on both sides of the Hudson, and have, with many of them, already agreed to pilots. As they were constructing or laying down the transmission line. And so they've then circled back to Dutchess County in February-ish of this year. They've yet to submit an application. So we're in the consideration phase right now, gathering information. And so the purpose of this document before you, it's all labeled draft, is to discuss the best and most transparent approach for managing that application, as well as notifying the affected taxing jurisdictions, gathering their input, and whether they choose or not to participate in a pilot if one is agreed to, and how then, if those taxing jurisdictions who opt out will then manage, the tax bill independent of those who have chosen to opt in and will be under a pilot. So again, today's conversation is just to run through a framework for how we will manage the application.
I remember there being an issue with seeker. I don't know who would be the lead agent on a multi-county project. I don't remember if that was ever resolved, if seeker was ever completed, and because it was a linear project sometimes gets a lower review. But then
Right.
are we on the hook if this thing overheats and kills the entire fish population? Because I don't know how deep it is.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But you're saying tax bills are going out already this year for 2026? Or is that a general statement?
So that's a general statement. But many of the taxing jurisdictions have received an estimate of what they would receive if it were not.
I just wonder how everything is based on, that's all. And if they've already completed deals with other communities or IDAs, Orange County or Rockland, or I just don't understand.
This is a very interesting question because New York State Office of Real Property Services is the sort of the guiding agency.
Sure.
And typically in our municipalities, they have guidelines for assessors, but they don't actually do assessment.
Correct.
But this is one exception. I went after this a little bit, where for utilities, they will actually, upon request, provide an appraisal of the value of that property, whether it's utility property, but they've apparently, in this case, they've actually provided a evaluation for this segment of line.
Which also has a useful life, I read somewhere, right? That's, where a brick and mortar might be 100 years, this cable was like 25 years. Or something, yes,
I think it was
until it's replaced with better technology.
25 years, I believe it was.
So like, does the Marcy power lines through Pleasant Valley pay taxes to everybody? I just wonder how this works. Or even if we talk about Cricket Valley, they jumped on that, the power transmission lines. Yeah. The easement that goes through everyone's property.
And so that will be a greater conversation. I'd like to keep today's conversation focused on that.
Are they going to submit an application, I guess?
They are going to submit an application. And so before we get into the nuts and bolts, because how I view it is there will be several conversations with the board, public conversations. That may be something that happens at the legislative level, where the public has an opportunity to weigh in before this board takes any action. The IDA will be acting as the lead agency representing the county, not the applicant.
And so one other little piece on that sort of structural thing is that we should also involve Department of Planning or on RAFTA as well, so that we have got the full complement.
Correct.
Yeah.
So how does that affect the county legislature, and how do they govern this?
Tax money goes to us too.
No, I understand. So they have to come to you as well, this project? Did you say it's going to the legislature?
The county is listed as an interested party in the pilot and will receive under the proposed pilot plan submitted by Champlain Hudson, that the county would also receive a portion of a pilot payment.
I don't think that's approved by the legislature.
None of it.
I was wondering if we have a hearing.
You guys do.
Yeah, no, I understand, but would the legislature have a hearing and open to the public and debate? Okay.
And that's.
We can do that for any topic.
Yeah, okay.
So we may do it.
And that's.
We could do it for that topic. We're not.
And that's what we're looking to identify if if that happens, where in the process does it fit in?
Right.
Yeah.
If the state has to assess the entire line, I don't imagine that would be quick.
Well, it's already happened, right?
It's already happened.
For value?
Apparently.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what they're saying. Poughkeepsie has a tax bill ready, right?
Just spin the wheel. What do you want to pay?
But I'm sure there's other power lines that have been assessed at some point.
Right, that's what I was
Perhaps
wondering.
the future. They have some sort of capacity. They take up some sort of space. There's the underlying value of the property that is not being used for something else. In this case, probably that's like a nominal thing for the water. But then, you have potential issues with the line that could cause environmental issues because it's underwater. So you have all sorts of variables that some expert somewhere came up with. And I'm sure they have to consider environmental aspects of above ground wires and, passing through Milan or whoever, Pleasant Valley or wherever. So I'm sure there's some sort of guesswork, informed guesswork that can happen for that, and has happened, but it's above our pay grade.
What I don't like is, are we expected to fall in line with the other communities? That's what, you know?
Oh, I mean-
If the other IDAs, I shouldn't say
Oh, I
IDAs, if
don't
other
think so.
communities, you know,
I do not think
you
so.
know, if deals have already been struck or something, you know, I
In
hate
other
to be
counties,
lax.
you mean?
Yeah, other counties, other municipalities, if the, yeah, it's just.
No, that isn't the expectation. And that certainly isn't the expectation that I've relayed to Champlain Hudson. I've indicated that this application will go through the same application completeness review process as all others that come to the IDA, if not with greater focus because it is so complex.
Yeah, I mean, I would love lots of lists. I mean, you know, who's completed a pilot, what municipalities and
Yeah.
and IDAs involved.
What are the assessments in the other counties?
It's gonna require a lot of info. But again, we have Camoin to help, and I don't know if the utility commission helps, but okay.
Right, so but today we're looking to.
Today we're just
review
looking
what
at
the
the-
process will be, not the
Right.
specific details of what.
Correct. Like if we can just get this,
Right.
The
the
initial
structure.
framework, subject to change if we decide
It
later. but at
absolutely
least-
is subject to
at least-
change
at least-
because and that's why it's coming before you guys because there will be something from your perspective that I may not see. So it's in draft form, subject to input and,
Let me suggest that we digest this
Yeah.
ourselves
Okay.
and go ahead. The only thing is that, we're going to, step one would be requesting a formal application submission. Do we think that we should have a vote to say, let's go ahead? And normally you would request an application anyway, so this is a
Correct.
fairly normal process for the IDA, but it's being such a different type of project. Liz, do you think that this would, to enter into the process at all, should we?
I mean, really, anyone can submit an application and the vetting that's done by IDA staff is whether this is a project that fits within the general municipal law or not, whether it's the type of project that's permissible under our uniform tax exemption policy. And in this case, although it's different from any project that we've done, I don't think there's anything within the IDA's current framework that would prohibit you from considering the application. So I don't know that the board needs to vote on it, but certainly I think your guidance is helpful for the types of questions
All the
and the types of
municipalities
information
telling us or
that
asking.
you'll want the application
All right, very good.
to forward.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. This is not unusual for us in general outline, so we'll.
So no special,
Yeah.
no special treatment, for this. If they want to apply, they'll send an application and we consider it as we would normally consider it, at least in the beginning steps. Rather than, start asking for applications from particular individuals or applicants and, being subject to criticism for handpicking who applies. Well, I think.
Good points. Great points. And we can remember that.
Maybe they'll just decide not to apply. We won't have to deal with it.
Work goes away. I think my concern was, as just Liz laid out, it's going to take a good amount of staff time to pull this off. So it's not without cost at all. So let's.
Right, but we can't tell them not to apply.
No, we can't.
Right.
So they'll either apply or they won't.
Yeah, and we'll deal with
They
it.
will, obviously. And then it'll be processed and that'll be that.
Okay. Then, Melaine, you are up for Destination Duchess 2026 first quarter performance outcome report.
Great. You all received, I think, before the last meeting, a copy of the annual report. If anybody has any questions about that, I can answer those. The difference between the annual report and the quarterly reports is we don't always have results from campaigns for quarterly reports, so the annual report wraps up all of that kind of stuff. But if you'll take a look at the quarterly report, I want to walk through a couple pages with you, just a few highlights. On page 2, looking at our website numbers, they continue to skyrocket, 1.1 million in Q1, which is crazy because last year total, we had 2.9. So we're off to an excellent start. People are very interested in what we have to offer. Almost 100,000 events, views of our event calendar in Q1 when there's not as many events as there are later in the year. International is driving a lot of that visitation because of all that work that our team does. December, January, February, those booking seasons for international travelers, even though you'll see reports that it's down, people are still looking, they're still interested, they're still planning for future travel to come to Dutchess County. 600 events in Q1 were added to the calendar, so that was huge. We also run Film Duchess, and we partnered with the Hudson Valley Film Commission to also fund, and I gave you all an updated outcome sheet from the Film Commission. There is a new director, and she's having trouble getting reporting data from the productions that came in, so she's still working on that, but making some good progress in terms of filming in Dutchess County in the Hudson Valley. There's 10 projects currently in production that are coming in through May, June, July that we're trying to work with and assist together to make sure they have everything they need to drop a lot of money here. So that's what we're working on with film. If you look at page 4, Q1 is a great time for our PR efforts. Doing a lot of pitching. Christina was at IMM, which is the International Media Marketplace down at the Javits Center in January, where she met with 23 different media representatives in kind of like a speed dating format. But we got great results. We got articles in Travel and Leisure in Q1 and Fedoras. We also pitched to Signature Magazine in Japan. It's a Diners Club magazine, goes out to their premium members, and they were just here last week. So we met them, a writer and a photographer going to Dia, Troutbeck, and the national park sites in Hyde Park. So that was a great visit. They were thrilled. Also in that bottom right corner, the Everyday Gourmet TV show and videos came out. That's an Australian publication. They were here last summer filming, so that was finally distributed. If you go to page 5, we continue to leverage our marketing partnerships with Hudson Valley Tourism, Today Media, and some others. Hudson Valley Restaurant Week was very successful this year. That continues to be a strong program that we partner with. We get a lot of extra advertising benefits from that, including print ads in their Hudson Valley Magazine, Westchester Magazine, Valley Table is all a part of that. Agritourism, we'd like to remind people that we are a 4-season destination, and in Q1, it's all about maple. And so Maple Month is in March, but we're also promoting animal experiences and our farm breweries and distilleries. It's a great time of year to enjoy those kind of things. Page 6, Hotel Week. Thank you again for that rollover funding to be able to do more marketing for that. It continues to be more successful for our hotels than years when we did not do that program. This year we were hampered because we had a state of emergency, and the first week travel ban made it hard for people to come. Though we do know from some of our hotel properties that they were able to reschedule and come at a later date, and they honored that $99 rate for those folks. So that was really good, but that was a huge bummer to kick off our day. So the numbers weren't as good as last year, but the reach and the visibility of our advertising campaign was very, very strong. Looking at our Dutchess Trail Finder experience passes, even in Q1, 135 passes were downloaded from 11 states and the UK. So people out there exploring the county using that great tool that we have. On page 7, looking at our international marketing, as I said, that's the busy time for all of us. So Dawn did a Nordic sales mission in Denmark and Sweden with Brand USA. If you remember, Brand USA is like the I Love New York for the whole country, getting people internationally to come to the US. So they're training agents and operators, people, letting them know who we are, that there's a whole state attached to New York City and that it's not all tall buildings. And so being able to train them so they can then sell that to their customers, because people in Europe generally use travel agents to book things and they rely heavily on their expertise. So us training them about what we have to offer is really, really important. Also spent time in Germany and Switzerland, training agents and operators there. And also we did a consumer show there. So we had a lot of folks, the consumer show was in Copenhagen. But really meeting with a lot of people, making great presentations and strides. And because of being there in person, we were able to make connections with other high-level travel folks, airline people, and we just hosted what we call a mega fam with 16 media and tour operators here that we took around the county to show off what we have to offer for their people. So that's great, because seeing is believing. Group tour, we also go to the American Bus Association Marketplace in Q1, where again, it's a speed dating kind of style. You meet with 54 group tour operators. So those are the bus groups that you see. Every time you see a bus in a hotel parking lot, be grateful, because in the 24-hour period, they spend about $24,000 in the community. So it's a big deal. They plan a year or two out. But we do a lot of work with them. We're really excited. We're going to be producing a group tour planner publication, like a kind of little brochure magazine, a small one, to be able, it will get shipped directly to tour operators with the main industry magazine in November that leads to that booking. So really good things. Also, we're at travel shows in New York City, Washington, D.C., Dallas, South Florida this year. 1,000 people signed up to get our newsletters, so that was great. Sent 4,300 pieces of our brochures, 3,800 partner brochures. And then we also have representation that have our guides at other shows all over the whole Northeast and beyond in Canada. So really good things going on there with us. Arts Mid Hudson continues to go strong. They're doing a lot of career fairs, helping young people understand there are wonderful careers to be had in the arts. So they did 4, one at Arlington and John Jay High Schools, Sissy Mountain Junior High and Bard College. They do networking meetings and events to get people to work to collaborate with each other. They did training for their Duchess partners in the arts grant program, so they'll be reviewing those applications shortly. Art at the Belfield, the Inn at Belfield is still going strong. Right now, 32 works are being viewed there, and then the artist gets commission if they're sold. So those are the big things going on. Some really great events like the Hudson Valley Puppetry Festival, National Poetry Month happened, and they continue to grow their outreach and social media and marketing efforts. Any questions?
Thank you, Elaine, very much. Looking at your reporting numbers.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that just the consistency. So
Yeah.
your FAM tours, you showed the target, and then, but on the first quarter, you mentioned that you had done some, but you have a 0.
Because they just happened.
Oh, outside of the quarter, very good.
Yeah.
And then, all right.
They don't like to travel in the winter.
I just want to make sure we're.
How is the film industry going?
Generally good. A lot of repeat productions coming back, which is very, very good. They're very happy. It's a little bit challenging with election turnovers and new people in municipalities, and some of them implementing different kinds of permitting processes, and fees that are being charged in some cases are not realistic, and relationships, and also a sense of urgency. So that's something that I'm thinking about doing, a seminar or some kind of presentation for mayors and supervisors to help them understand how the film industry works. Not saying that you need to roll over, but things happen pretty quickly. And so you can't always wait for the next monthly town board meeting to happen. If you've submitted your application 2 months ago and now all of a sudden they're saying, well, you can't film now when you're supposed to start filming. And so there's some challenges out there we're trying to work on.
How does the county benefit the most from a film shoot? Is it the hotel tax?
Yeah, that's a big one.
The biggest driver?
That's a huge one. That's definitely the biggest financial impact are those overnight stays, especially because now we have series. So they're staying a long time. And if they're coming back because they liked it, because they had good experiences with our municipalities and our locations and everything, then that's sets up future, because they all talk to each other. So if you have a bad experience, they're not coming back. You know, so that's a big deal financially, the sales tax that gets done. A movie just filmed in the county office building, so they got location fees for that, you know, so things like that, or if you have to shut down a road or whatever, you need security, other things, you cover your costs, but then you get some on top of that, so they benefit from that too, and it benefits our businesses and other locations. It helps our people who crew and things who already live and work here not have to commute into the city, which means that they are here and then can do other things in their community and volunteer work and, be there to coach Little League and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of benefits to the film industry, but financially, that lodging is a huge piece of it.
And privately, location fees are
Right.
substantial.
And the jobs that are created, and not just the ones you would think of, all the other kinds of services that could be from dry cleaning to pest control to art supplies and, for creating sets and things like that. It's a funky ripple that happens.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. So Robin, the first quarter performance outcomes, can you run us through that quickly?
Absolutely, very quickly. So, taking a look at jobs created through closed IDA projects. We, in the first quarter, 2.5 FTEs were created, and an increase in capital investment of a little over 23 million. And we're already on target for jobs created, construction jobs created. So that particular project was the Jackson Crossing project that closed, and those numbers are related to that particular project. Projects that are pending closing: NRI Hyde Park, Sky Harbor, Parcel 7, and Town Center Development. That is the Amendola project out in LaGrange that is yet to close. So with those three, Liz and I are working closely with the project operators to identify closing dates. LDC,
Do you want to report those, I'm sorry, on the LDC side of the
oh, during LDC, yes, you're right.
business?
Business attraction. So we've responded to 13 requests for information. One new business in the priority sector, which is advanced manufacturing, is considered a priority sector, and attended trade shows. There's been quite a bit, as I said, 13 requests for information about sites here in Dutchess County. We're working on one with the bankruptcy court that may look like it's a match, and I'll have an update for that by.
That's for a site selection.
That's for site selection, correct. They're currently located in the city of Poughkeepsie. The rent for that space has become exorbitant, so they're looking to relocate. 2 trade shows attended for business attraction. One is IAMC, the other is a site selectors conference. Moving forward to business retention and expansion. In 1Q, we've had 17 site visits, and that's just to local businesses with storefronts. 52 consulting for businesses, and what that indicates is from soup to nuts, whatever that business is looking for, whether it's funding, whether it's looking to obtain additional headcount, whether it's looking for technical support. That's what business counseling is considered. And then referring businesses to community partners, 78, that would be, let's say a startup company comes to Think Dutchess as opposed to starting off in Wedsey, and we would connect them to Wedsey for the startup business assistance. That's not something that we do in our office. We don't assist startups. And then, of course, MWBE designation, and that's working with Wedsey to help a small business complete the MWBE certification. And Wedsey's numbers for entrepreneurship programs that they've completed in the first quarter, they've almost reached their full year target of 39 by assisting 37 small businesses. They've done their one training program, entrepreneurial training program. They'll be starting another one in the summer, I believe it's July. They've already hosted 5 workshops. They have an access to capital program coming up, which we will be assisting them with, we being the IDA and Think Duchess. And then 63 entrepreneurs have attended these programs through WEDC.
Very good. Well, thank you. Well, it seemed from those results that the organization is working very well, staff's working hard,
Yes.
accomplishing the goals, which is considering your coming on board so recently, that is really kind of a remarkable accomplishment for everything.
Seamless almost, yeah.
And what we're hearing from the municipalities as I meet with the Economic Development Advisory Council, as well as, in my traipses throughout the county, is that the municipalities are looking for additional business support from Think Duchess. So we will be scheduling like a listening series throughout the county to address the concerns of many of those municipalities and their small businesses. Yesterday, I visited with the town supervisor in the town of Pleasant Valley, and we'll be scheduling a conversation with those businesses there, in addition to some sewer stuff they have going on. So that's why, that's why I thought I would speak to you about it.
All right, so we'll adjourn the IDA part of our meeting this morning.